Donald Trump announced that he will impose a 25% tariff on all imported products from Canada and Mexico on his first day in office, in addition to a universal 10% tariff on China. These three countries are our largest trading partners by a long shot. But specifically with North America, this deal disrupts the current trade agreement signed by Trump in his first term. He finished his post by saying it is time for them to pay a very big price. In reality, all of us are going to pay a really big price. For example, from Mexico, we import machines, electronic machinery, cars, tractors, and trucks. We also import some oil. From Canada, we import even more oil. In fact, 70% of our imported petroleum comes from Canada and Mexico. Canada is also highly linked with our automobile supply chain. I mean, Detroit is just on the other side of the lakes from Canada. I think the quickest place consumers will feel this is fresh produce. 60% of American families' fresh fruit is imported from abroad, and 40% for vegetables, if you're into that. We imported $6.6 billion worth of coffee from Mexico, $3 billion worth of avocados, and nearly all of our imported tomatoes come from North America. Things are about to get a little more expensive for Denethor. I've seen some rough estimates that this move will increase the cost for families by around $1,000 per year, let alone the massive supply chain disruptions that could take years to heal depending on how long this policy is implemented. There is a bit of a positive side to this. None of it is tied to job protection. In the modern American economy, tariffs do not protect jobs. It is tied to things like fentanyl and immigration, the so-called negotiating tool of tariffs. There has already been progress on the border. For this past year, the peak in apprehensions was in December 23, and this data goes through August, but we can see we're back down to levels last seen in Trump's first administration. The hope is that the threshold for these negotiations is relatively well defined and that it happens quickly. If not, this is a massive sales tax that is going to be paid for by lower and middle income families. I'm not an expert on international negotiations, but you wonder if this is the most cost-effective way to fight the fentanyl crisis. Other than imposing a de facto $1,000 tax on families, maybe it would have been more economically efficient to raise the funds via a progressive income tax to fund border security, the FBI, and other law enforcement necessary to fight fentanyl. But that's just my opinion.